They don't get charged on foreign companies. They get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you are trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press.
Ugh, disgusting. How dare you ask me such a question? That was Levitt a little while ago, being confronted on the fact that it doesn't seem there's an understanding of tariffs and their impact. Saying that feels so 3 months ago, but that's become very clear. And I want to talk about the economic aftermath of this lack of understanding. Before doing that, welcome everybody to the morning show. I hope you're doing well. What the show is titled around is, yes, more MAGA fallout and more MAGA divide and Trump spiral over it related to the Epstein story. But I can't start with that again. Okay, I can't do it. My heart can't handle that subject at the beginning once again. But we will talk about it in just a second here. First, let's talk about a little bit of the economy. Levitt posted this Fox Business article that has a paywall, but here's the point. It says Trump's tariff revenues are hitting record highs, generating $100 billion so far this year. So that, again, is something they keep saying. How could you say Trump's tariffs are bad if they're generating a bunch of revenue? Woo, woo, woo. Trump says we're bringing in so much money from other countries. Well, because that money is being brought in from us. So it's just taxing us. So why are you celebrating that? Doesn't make any sense, leading to this. Financial Times reports U.S. inflation reaches 2.7% as Trump's tariffs hit. Unexpectedly sharp June rise signals U.S. president's levies are pushing up consumer prices. What we are expected to see is not that immediately it'll go boom, but just that, I mean, that was a pretty sharp uptick, to be honest, but that it's going to take time as businesses contend with the question, can we wait this out and see if Trump's going to back off again, or should we start shifting our prices? So this is not even close to the worst of it, obviously, but the first sign that he indeed is pushing up prices. U.S. inflation climbed to 2.7% in June, surpassing expectations and signaling that Donald Trump's tariffs are hitting prices. Now, this substantiates the thing. Few people, I might be the only person in the world who says this, but I'm kind of a fanboy for Jerome Powell. What? Jerome, let me just get a photo of this cutie up here real quick. Here he is. Open image and new tab. Here he is. Here's Jerome Powell. I'm kind of a fanboy a little bit. Some people like athletes, you know, Tom Brady, Matthew Mahomes,
Patrick
Mahomes. I didn't actually mean to do that. That sounded so dumb. Patrick. I know Patty well. Travis Kelce, the other Kelce, Jason, I think it is. And some people think the Fed chair is a rock star. That's me. Who got bullied more in high school? No, I'm kidding. The people who like Jerome Powell or the people who like Travis Kelce? And here's why. Whether it was during the Biden administration or the Trump administration, everyone craps on him. Everybody. The easiest thing to do in the world is I'd handle these interest rates better if I had the Fed chair. No, he's gonna exacerbate unemployment. Oh no, now he's not gonna handle inflation well enough, because those are two things that you're juggling here. And what we saw is that he facilitated, along with the Biden administration and Democrats' legislative policy, the very majestic, soft economic landing that everyone thought was impossible. Almost every pundit said there was no way, when we shot out of the pandemic with all that relief spending and the zero interest rate, that you were going to see us inflation come down, cool off the economy without us going into a recession. And we did it. And I think we should credit, among many other people, Jerome here. Because no one ever does. He's like a kicker. No one, people only even think about him when he messes up. So Jerome, I recognize you, I see you, I affirm you, and I appreciate that you're standing on business, okay? Because that's what you're doing.
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
That's right. And no matter what Trump says about lower the rates, it's not going to be a smart move if we're already seeing inflation uptick, because one of the ways you control inflation is by keeping the rates a little bit up. Consumer prices rose 2.7%. All right, we get the point. My goodness. Why do I have all those tabs? New York Times reporting on this. In response, Aaron Rupar attached what Trump just posted, which is consumer prices low. Bring down the Fed right now. Just not even contending with what's going on. All right, this is just funny. Before I show it to you, Law Nerd Debbie has been a member for a month, said, good morning all. Well, good morning to you, Law Nerd Debbie. If you become a member, if you're watching this and you're thinking, who cares about the whole membership mumbo jumbo? I care, and I hope you would care. The join button is next to the subscribe button. If you can't find it, you can look in the description. There'll be a link. It'll take you straight to the membership page. It is, I think, reasonably priced for you to get extra content. This is not charging for our normal content, to specify. Some people get confused. This is extra content and supporting the work we do if you want to. And if you don't, all good. And we will continue doing the free content nevertheless. And I'll shout you out if you become a member while we're still live, and I'll be reading super chats. So I've been keeping you up to date. And just if you're jumping in, you're saying, what's the emotional about? We're getting to it. Wait, patience. It's about Epstein, of course, but we're going to get to it. We've been talking about how Trump and MAGA is trying to create a story out of nothing with the Autopen scandal, but with the fact that the Biden administration, like the Trump administration, like the Obama administration, I think also like the Bush administration, use an Autopen, which is if there's a bunch of documents that you don't actually want to physically sign, you give your approval and they go with your signature. And James Comer is just so good at being so cartoonish whenever he runs these investigations. Look at this NBC headline. Lead investigator into Biden's use of an Autopen signed letters with a digital signature. And you might be saying, oh, just in general? No, in this investigation. House Oversight Committee Chair Representative James Comer, Republican from Kentucky, used a digital signature to send out letters and subpoena notices related to the Biden Autopen investigation. So he's autopenning during the Autopen investigation. Now, what would he say? I gave my approval, so it's fine. Exactly. Biden gave his approval, so it's fine. Jared Moskowitz said, Comer using an Autopen to investigate an Autopen is just so James. That's what we love about him, his attention to detail. James. You remember we talked about this moment? Maybe this clip will satisfy us. Let's see.
President Trump spent part of yesterday watching the FIFA Club World Cup finals at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Chelsea blew out Paris Saint-Germain 3-0 to take the title.
Yeah,
President
so
Trump.
This guy, you might remember, was desperately trying to get Trump off the stage during the FIFA World Cup finals celebration. And Trump just stayed. He just stayed for the photo. And apparently Trump kept the Gold Club World Cup trophy for himself. So FIFA had to give the winners a replica. President Trump has revealed that the champions of the Club World Cup won't be getting the original trophy because he's keeping it. English club Chelsea easily dispatched. I'm not going there. I don't want to hear about that. With Trump joining the players for the trophy lift, it has since been revealed that the intricate prize hoisted aloft by the London club's captain, Reece James, was a replica because the president of football's governing body, FIFA, has let Trump use the original as an ornament in the Oval Office. Wow. Imagine you work your whole life to get so good at football or soccer, and you you blood, you sweat, you tears. You lose family relationships because of your dedication to this sport. You take it all the way to the top, I think, the Gold Club World Cup trophy. And then you get a replica? Because Trump wants to caress the real one in the Oval Office? It's like we're living in the movie Idiocracy. Or Idiocracy, as Jake Paul put it. So Jake Paul sent out this tweet saying, trying to say Idiocracy, the movie, is happening in front of our eyes. So sad. People are so miserably dumb, so dumb, and they don't even know it. How do we help them? Seriously asking. And he spelled the word, misspelled the word. Bougie. That's a bummer. Anytime I've sent out posts about the perceived intelligence of somebody else, I'll check my spelling like 300 times because that's just the easiest self-own. Someone said, did he seriously misspell it as idiocracy? How would you even pronounce that? I don't know. Yeah, lots of people taking note. So that's a bummer. All right, now for the headline story. Here we go. We have other things to talk about after this in case you're also bored with this story. Not that it's not important, but there's not enough developments, I think, is how I feel. So Trump sent out an emotional collapse of sorts, saying, I won't read it again, but essentially, why are all of my supporters mad at me for the fake Epstein files? After all, Epstein just never seems to die. And these files were actually crafted by Hillary Clinton and Obama and Biden. And it's a hoax. So why would we release them? And we're doing such a great job. And Pam Bondi needs to investigate the election. And the election was stolen. And we're so hot as a country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So that was the gist of it. And then, look at this. House GOP blocks dim maneuver to force release of Epstein files. Again, guys, I'm sorry. You're thinking, Luke, don't say it again. It kind of makes us uncomfortable. Doesn't fit into a political narrative. I know. That's life. If there's Epstein files that have I'm not going to sing, that's so cringe, that have the things that we're thinking of, then the Biden administration would have had them for 4 years. So maybe. I always believed that there was going to be more justice, but just extensive investigations were being done, right? And that we'd find out about it. But now them closing the case is like, whoa, what? There's no other powerful portion you have enough evidence on? But the whole, I don't know. I'm just being honest. I'm glad they're leaning into this. It is very suspicious how Trump's handling it. All that I get. But it's interesting that Democrats are leading the charge, but they weren't doing that during the Biden years. I don't know. It's weird. It's a bummer. But cool. Fine. I get it. They're leaning in. Lean in. Damn it. You know the Republicans would, so do it. House Republicans on Monday night voted against attaching a Democratic amendment to landmark cryptocurrency legislation that would force the Justice Department to release the Jeffrey Epstein files. That's kind of funny. You're passing a crypto bill. It's like, crypto needs to be regulated as such. And in addition, Jeffrey Epstein, we need to learn more about him. Why it matters, it's the outcome Democrats anticipated and one they plan to gleefully cite as President Trump continues to grapple with the MAGA fallout over the DOJ's handling of the documents. Yeah, so from a political standpoint, lean in, Democrats. It's great. You want to, because I think the MAGA base is learning a lot. And I whether or not this is the best way to resemble it, it's just a true phenomenon that you're emphasizing, which is Trump is not fighting the elites. He is the elite. He is the elite. All right. Humongous said, I made 2 songs out of part of Rump's post. The list. Interesting. MJ Roberts became a member by clicking the join button. Thank you. Kelly Be Crazy has been a member for 2 months, said happy 2 months. When I have a work meeting during your morning show, I need CBC soundboard button Alex Jones yelling. Give us the whole Alex Jones yell if you would. There we go. Tim Gonzalez said some Democrats are probably on the list too. I mean, yeah, but also, do we believe there's like, I don't know. I struggle to believe there's just a list. Just like, here's the list, and then it's a hyperlink to evidence on each person. But if you mean also powerful Democrats, some are implicated in the broader swath of evidence. True. I would hope that didn't motivate a cover-up for as many years. I would hope that. I don't think that Joe Biden was implicated. Sheesh. That would really rock my world. I would... Wait, huh? I don't think Kamala was implicated. But like, someone else, maybe. You just never know. That's the point. You never know. And I would want justice either way. No Lie with Brad Tyler Cohen says there it is. Republicans just blocked the release of the Epstein files. Who's this Virginia something?
Hearing none, the question's on the amendment. All those in favor signify
Virginia Fox. There we go.
by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it. The amendment's not
Madam
agreed
Chair, I'm
to.
kind of shocked by that. I will ask for a roll call.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mrs. Fitchmark.
All right, so they blocked it. That's the point of that clip. And then CNN was covering stuff we've been covering for years now, which is the difference in interview that was broadcasted on Fox versus... Sorry, if you just stumbled across the show, hi, I want you to have fun. We've covered this a lot, but it's interesting to see mainstream media now covering it. So here was them showing the unedited interview versus the edited interview that Fox News broadcast.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least...
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It would be interesting to find out what happened there because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
Attorney General, we talked about how you fix the DOJ.
Man, talk about deceptive editing on an issue that
isn't that what they sued CBS and 60 Minutes over?
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy every time you watch it. And that's a terrible cut. Producer Cole could have done a much smoother cut there. It's like, would you declassify the Epstein files? Yeah, I think I would. Attorney General. And it's crazy to see Pete Hegseth was just like one of 3 weekend hosts triple teaming Trump in an interview. It's just like totally irrelevant. And now he's the defense secretary. Woo-wee. But yeah, that's crazy. That's deceptive. CBS didn't do deception. That was deception. Very clearly. Dan Bongino shows up to work after tantrum vow to quit if Bondi not fired. So apparently after he left work, didn't come to work one day and threatened Bondi with his resignation if she didn't resign. He's now back at work and he's in a better headspace. Okay. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino did show up for work at the FBI today, 2 sources tell me. Earlier in the day, sources said that he was in a better headspace today than last week after his blow-up with Attorney General Pam Bondi. His long-term future is still uncertain. Well, that's good. I was worried about that. I just felt like he's had a tough road. He was sleeping away from his wife, and they're not separated. They're not divorced, but they're separated. And a lot of that has to do with his position at the FBI. Can I find that? Let's see. Bongino, wife, I don't want just his wife. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. I'm glad he's in a better headspace because he's been in a tough headspace for a while.
I mean, I gave up everything for this. I mean, you know, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. You know, I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C.
Yeah, it's called an office, dude. That's called an office. Hey, welcome to every other 9-to-5 worker in the world. I get into work at 7 a.m. I leave at 6. Like, that is a lot of hours, but like, okay. Me too. But my office is better. But yeah, see, I bet you don't have pep all around your office, but that's life. I sit same four walls. My only break is during lunch. Yeah, we get it. That's America, baby. And I feel like he's a little bit spoiled by the fact that he's been a huge podcaster for a while. I'm probably spoiled by that. You get out of touch with other people's workflow, and so by comparison to him shouting about how big Trump's watermelon are in a studio, now this seems more difficult for him.
My apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., you know, by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, you know, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out the FBI. You're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I got one more thing.
One more thing. One more thing. Sandra, if you still love me, I am here for you. And I want to make it better. Oh, gosh. Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Dan. What a guy. Oh, the trash can's open. Awkward. Gunboats said Republicans aren't willing to sacrifice Trump even if it means finally nailing Clinton. Interesting. Let Them Eat Cake sent a gifted membership. Laudner Debbie said, I think the reason the Biden administration didn't use it is because Trump cut a deal and Biden honored it. So like, yeah, because obviously Epstein went to prison and then died in prison during the Trump years. So maybe you're saying certain information was a deal with, I don't know who the deal would be with, but there was some deal made and then Biden honored it. I don't know. I always want to give y'all something better, but sometimes I literally don't know. I'm a person. I have a heart. It's amazing. Let's see. CNN's reporting on this.
Correspondent Caitlin Collins. So, Caitlin, I mean, this is fascinating. This has been going on now. Is it clear where Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino, his career is headed tonight?
No, it's not clear, even to White House officials, Anderson, who were texting each other and texting me this morning asking, whether or not they had figured out if he had shown up to work today, because it was still an open question in Washington this morning if he was going to be back at the FBI today. And of course he did.
What if he's just tired of the four walls? Why is everyone assuming this has something to do with Epstein? What if he's just tired of the water cooler? Do you know how mentally torturous it is for your only entertainment in a day to be when the bubbles pop up in the water cooler? Do you know how sad it is for the only moment of euphoria to be you fantasizing about your coworker, but honoring your divorced to not divorced, separated wife's character by not acting on it? Do you know how depressing it is for your only moment of joy to be opening up a tinfoil wrapped PB&J with the crust cut off? Do you know how mentally torturous that is? Maybe that's why he wasn't at work. He needed a mental health day. Why are we assuming it has to do with Epstein?
eventually show up. We were told he had spent the weekend in Florida after not going there on Friday. But when it comes to what you just mentioned there about the relationship being untenable with the White House, he is staying in the job for right now. He is still the deputy director of the FBI right now, and he hasn't resigned or been fired. But the relationship has deteriorated so much that there are officials inside the White House who have not spoken to Dan Bongino in days, even though, of course, the question of whether or not he was still going to be employed by the federal government was still a big one for officials over the weekend. And I was told the president was very angry with Dan Bongino and also the FBI director Kash Patel to a degree, which is why you saw Patel put out that statement over the weekend saying he had no plans to resign and was going to work for Trump as long as he would have him. Obviously, right now they're trying to basically just get their arms around the story and control it.
Well, that is not working, would be my assessment. But I did see that. Where is this? Can I find this? I saw, I must have X'd out of that tab, but that Trump is upset with, he was upset with Patel. And so he called up Patel or made clear that he was upset. And that's why Patel sent out the message saying, none of the theories are true. I love Trump. I'm staying here. We're good to go. All right, let's check in on, who are we checking in on? Cole.
What's up, guys? It's Benny.
There he is. I saw. Wait, take this down. Take this down, Jaden, for a second. I saw. How would I find this? Harry Sisson Benny. I saw him coming after our boy Harry. And someone had a brutal response. So, Benny was talking about Epstein and saying some big things are coming. We're so excited. And Harry said, Trump is about to play you again and you're falling for it. You guys just never learn that he's a con man, LMAO. And then Benny said, I hear you're quite the con man on Snapchat. And then somebody responded, I can't remember. They said, I heard you're quite the con man. Back to Benny, they said, I heard you're quite the con man on Grindr. Because of that Google ad that popped up that was like, Benny posted, he said, why is the Military Times advertising the biggest gay cruise in America? And everyone was like, that's a Google ad. That's based on your your internet history. And obviously he doesn't say that he's gay, and he's very anti-gay. So it was a funny little thread. Back to Benny. He's saying this, I guess. Whatever. Listen.
I mean, the reality is, and we were hearing it this weekend with 7,000 members of Trump's hardcore MAGA base screaming that they want the Epstein list disclosures and that they're not satisfied with the way that it's been handled from inside of the administration. Now, many people have said, how could they have possibly handled it like this? They're not dumb. I know this as a matter of fact. These people aren't dumb. They're not suicidal with their careers. They want to have careers. They had careers before the Trump administration. They want to have careers after. So I handle it this way. Exactly. The best explanation that was given to me was maybe it was an intentional leak by the deep state. Maybe the deep state got their hands on a memo that hadn't been released yet and released it in order to embarrass the Trump administration. Now, I'm not exactly sure about that. But I do know this. There are massive holes blown in the explanation of, shut up, bro, move along, we looked into it. We released all the evidence that we could give you, and it's conclusive. Here you go. Here's the tape of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. Well, actually, it's not his cell.
Okay, let's see.
Again, at this point, there was a missing minute inside of that video, the video that they released, and we've covered that extensively. At this point, you have to just say, is this an op?
Well, okay. By who? By whom? By whom? By who? By whom? That's funny. He says maybe the day. This is so stupid. This is maybe the deep state leaked it. Who is this deep state, and why haven't you stopped it yet? You can't. You must have the most impotent leader ever. That now a second term. He had 4 years the first time. And apparently the deep state was as alive as ever because it stole the election from him while he was president. And then the second time, now he's 6 months in and he still can't wrangle the neck of the deep state. Well, I swear an oath to the deep state then, because that seems like a really powerful force and I don't want to cross it. Mother Russia, Mother Deep State. I am your humble servant, Luke Patton Beasley. I can't think of anything else to put in my oath. Nope. So, I feel like one day that I'm going to see that clip out of context. People are going to take it seriously. So yeah, the deep state's all powerful and they're leaking things and they're making it all seem like Trump seems like he's guilty. Which the crazy thing is, if they did that, why would Trump get so mad that they were talking about it? He would have been like, what happened? What the hell happened?
What the hell happened to
the Epstein files? Susan said if the Biden administration released the files and Trump was implicated, they would have believed it. They wouldn't have believed it, and fake news and crooked Democrats and deep state. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. I just don't think it's that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not conspiratorial enough. I just have a difficulty believing that the decision was made one way or another, or that there's the bombshell that people believe. Not, again, when I reference that, it's in an evidential sense, not necessarily in did it happen sense, but evidentially demonstratable. Jenny said, Benny's voice puts my misophonia into overdrive. Misophonia. Wait, what's that word? Into overdrive. I'm going to be made fun of. Let me look it up. Misophonia. Condition where specific sounds, often common human noises, like chewing or breathing. Oh, yeah, okay. No, I know that well. Misophonia. Yeah, right? All right, good. Thank you. I saw someone say Pep is going to go down. Let's see. Cage-free Bongino. Where was that comment? Someone said Pep is going to go down into the annals of history. Yeah, here. Pep, thank you to 40 and Blues, who said Pep is going to go down in the annals of history, or as they spelled it, annals of history. Grace, thank you for the gifted membership. Gunboat said deep state, more like deep gape. Deep gape. I'm just reading what I'm getting. So just everyone remember that. All right, then, Tucker.
Are you joking?
Oh, wow. You had that ready. That was crazy.
You're not going to shout me down, by the way, at this point. I spent 4 years being shouted down by the left for asking, I thought, pretty reasonable questions. I have always felt very moderate. I'm not a hater.
Oh, that one was so good. That was good. Play the real one. Look at that. That was really good. Okay, so here's what I'm examining. Some of what he says here is fine. In terms of he's really mad at Trump for saying that somehow bringing up Epstein was disrespectful to the flood victims. That didn't make any sense. But watch how he does this baby talk thing. I don't care if right now he stumbled across a subject where he's calling on Trump to, right? Like, I'm more excited that he's upset about this right now. But still, I can't get over how he thinks his audiences are absolutely dumb. He speaks to them like they're babies. And he speaks like he is a baby. Watch how he explains this story.
I have always felt very moderate. I'm not a hater at all. And I'm not going to become one. And I don't think my questions are insane. They may be stupid. But if they're stupid, then just speak slowly so I can understand as you answer them. They're not crazy. And if they are, tell me how. But dismissing me out of hand by attacking my motive is not going to work. And telling me that my question is an insult to the children who died in Texas in a flood is an outrageous response. Anyway, sorry. And I say that with love, but I voted against that kind of crap. It's not just the argument, it's the style of argument. You are not allowed to dismiss my questions as a United States citizen with a wave of the hand and an attack on my character. You get the middle finger in the face from me for doing that until you stop doing it. So I think
you get the middle finger in the face and say stop doing it. I think my questions for the last 4 years were reasonable. If they're not if they're not reasonable, you could just tell me I'm stupid and talk slowly. Shut up, okay? Oh, Tucker. Somebody, Narc Levy said, love your content. You and your crew are genuinely amazing individuals. Never stop. Thank you. That's so sweet.
I think we have an absolute right to demand sensible answers. And the first question is, who the hell was Jeffrey Epstein working for? Why did Leon Black pay him $100 and something million for tax advice? Don't stop lying to me. It's not tax advice. I have an accountant. It's not that expensive. And
so it's the part where he goes, I don't think my questions are insane. And if they are, just talk slowly and I'll try to understand. Stop. So weird. They tell us that Russia is the heart of evil, but we are here at a grocery store and it's pretty nice. Oh!
Radicalized.
I've been radicalized. Oh, goodness. Candace Owens.
What is happening now is it seems like you think your base is stupid. That's how I feel. I feel like Trump thinks his base is stupid, or, again, because I don't think he's pressing send on these messages, the people around him certainly think that Trump is stupid. What is happening now?
Yeah, but wait, what? Both. Trump thinks y'all are stupid, and his handlers think he's stupid. Both ways. That's what we've learned over and over and over again. All right, one of the things that we got word about was that Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the groomer co-conspirator to Epstein, who trafficked the girls, she would kind of be the one finding, from my understanding, and then bringing into the fold people to then be abused and trafficked. And she came out and said, according to the Daily Beast, hey, I'll testify in front of Congress about what I know. To which and she's in prison. To which Republicans said, nah. To which Ghislaine Maxwell, or not really to which, but as that's happening, Ghislaine Maxwell's like, could I get out of prison? Hey, Ghislaine, chill. Okay? Listen, I'd love to see you testify in front of Congress, and let's not do any of this you shouldn't be in prison business. That didn't come out great. I was trying to do like a dunk, and I just dunked on myself. Prison. Gunboat said, isn't Tucker friends with Matt Gaetz? More like Matt Gapes. Okay, I think maybe we're using that in replacement of the other word. Elfany said, please tell me you've seen the Trump Hong Kong opera. It's hysterical and shows what a laughingstock he is worldwide. I haven't seen it. Kribopolis said, in a normal world, the DOJ is separate from the president. Biden didn't demand DOJ to prosecute anyone because that's not how the normal government works. That I get. Totally. No, I'm not talking about like demanding the prosecution of people. I'm saying if there were information that could be leaked or revealed that was damaging on Trump, I'd like to believe that it would have been. But maybe they were like, hey, we're not gonna play politics as long as this is private, a part of an investigation, then we're gonna keep it part of an investigation. Maybe. You don't know. President Donald Trump's Justice Department has urged the Supreme Court to reject an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell, the longtime associate of convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who's seeking to overturn her 2021 conviction by invoking Epstein's controversial 2008 non-prosecution agreement. Maxwell's legal team is arguing that the Florida NPA, which allowed Epstein to avoid federal charges in exchange for a state plea deal, also shielded co-conspirators, but the Justice Department contends she was never named, involved, or even known to prosecutors when the deal was made. Yeah, hey, Ghislaine, stop it. I mean, appeal all you want. If you were to get... That's not going to work. And if you were... This sounds bad. Let's just say you should stay in prison. I think that's the best place for you. Even for your well-being. Maybe you just stay in prison. Lauren Boris Meyer became a member by clicking the join button. Thank you so much. Next to the subscribe button. Hit it. Ghislaine trying to get out of prison. Ridiculous, you psycho. You're not a hero because people want you to testify. People want you to testify in case you can have some bombshell. But you're going to go to Congress, in an ideal world, you go to Congress, you testify, you go back to prison. And nobody and no weird sheets sitting around in any places. You get a mattress. No, you don't even get a mattress because maybe you can figure out something with that. You just get a concrete. You sleep there. You don't get a toothbrush that you could. You don't do sheets. You don't get a floss. Nothing. None of it. Sorry. Back to prison. She's already in prison. Stay in prison. There's a Democratic congressman who makes songs about news items. Hank Johnson. It's fun. It's cute. But this one's a doozy. Release the Epstein files, he says. All right, let's see. Let's see what he got.
Ache, but I'm going to do my best off of this Jason Isbell tune.
The tune is Dreamsicle. Dreamsicle. Oh, you got it? Yeah, Dreamsicle. There it is. Orange Dreamsicle.
Dreamsicle. Epstein died by suicide. Believe that and you must be blind. You've been telling us you released the file, but where are they?
Where are they?
We've gone along with what's been told. We've had plenty of time. You're in control. But when you say you will withhold the Epstein file, Dreamsicle on a summer night in a folding armchair. Trump's howling at the moon. Release the Epstein files soon.
Yeah. Give it up for Hank. Give it up for Hank. Give it up for Hank. That's so funny. Hey, speaking of Dreamsicle, Orange Dreamsicle is one of our Pep energy drink flavors. This was at the live show.
The first can of Pep.
If you want to support the show and get yourself the energy drink you deserve, your gut deserves, your gut microbiome specifically. I'm not saying like your gut. I'm saying like your inside gut, not outside gut. Something that impacts so much your health, your body, and your brain. Go to drinkpep.com, scan that QR code, or just type it in on your browser and get your order right straight to your house. Some Pep. Just do it. It's great. Started the company with my brothers, trying to solve the problem of being able to get that energy drink, energy boost, but without all of the disastrous health impediments that come with other energy drinks. Drinkpep.com. Let's jump forward to a little bit of Newsom's interview with Sean Ryan. He had some really good moments. So Sean Ryan is this really big... I think he would even say he's pretty MAGA associated. He supported Trump and he was right wing and he interviewed right wing guests and he does a lot of conspiracy theorizing, but he was willing to interview Gavin Newsom for 4 hours. It was a 4-hour interview. And I got like yesterday after we got off work while I was jogging and eating and going to bed, I was listening. I got like 2.5 hours in. Okay. So pretty good. And this is what's going to make a difference. Sitting down with these long form interviews and just being a guy and swearing and talking about your childhood and whatever, all things he got into, is the way that you rip away that veil of, especially Newsom has this problem of being sort of a slimy politician, coming off like you're just a politician with your talking points. If you could sit and talk, this is a model for how other Democrats should approach these interviews. And if you can't do this, you're probably not the right person in this moment of podcasts dominating so much our media discourse. So before we get into more substantive moments, because he did have a lot of zingers where he laid down some facts that I don't think Sean Ryan was aware of. It wasn't perfect. There were some parts that he got a little bit uncomfortable in. Like I would say when the trans topics came up, he was kind of floundering. I think he handled the COVID questions pretty well. He just owned up to the French Laundry thing, him going out to dinner during lockdowns. And he was like, I messed up and I hate myself for that. And then he debunked some other theories about him. So there were just good moments, some bad, mostly pretty solid. But this cracked me up so much. Before I had even clicked on the interview, I just saw, or I clicked on it, but what I saw in the comments, somebody say, I'm only a minute in and Gavin Newsom already got started with his silly hand motions. And I was like, what do they mean? And then I started watching, and when I got to a minute, watch how many of his notorious hand gestures he fits into like 20 seconds. Ready?
But all the time, divorce is not an option. Man, we got to live together and advance together across our differences. So no BS. I mean, this is critical. Because this zero sum, everyone talking past each other, down to each other. I mean, our kids are going to model that. It's just not sustainable.
Yeah, you know, America has become.
I love it. I have them all in my head too. He hit this one, then he has this one. I've started doing this one, and then he has this one, which I really like, and then he has this one. Wait. What is it? Wait.
Kids are going to model that. It's just not sustainable.
Yeah, you know.
So it's like clean out the back and forth, and then different back and forth, and then Classic. Okay, so we check that off the box, and then here's one of the pretty solid moments where I think Sean Ryan was like, oh, I didn't think about that.
What separates our game from the game played elsewhere is innovation, entrepreneurialism, more patents, more engineers, more researchers, more Nobel laureates in my state than any other damn state, more Fortune 500 companies in my state than any other state. Look that up, because I know people are rolling their eyes and saying, no, it's Texas. You're wrong.
It's true. I looked it up.
And we're, by the way, a donor state. We provided $83.1 billion more than we received from the federal government. Texas took $71.1 billion. I'm not saying that to bash Texas, but you know what? Pretty proud of my goddamn state.
I saw that too.
I think he clearly saw that people were like, oh my gosh, JD, wow, we like JD Vance. He did these long interviews and he would like swear and stuff. And so through the whole interview, he's like, my goddamn state. He's a son of a bitch. This is effing blah, 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 you know? It's funny. But yeah, I mean, these points are good.
Wait, man. But AI.
Can you repeat those numbers?
$83.1 billion. We provided more to the federal government than we received. In the same year that Texas received $71.1 billion more than they provided to the federal government.
So you're net positive.
Net positive. 9 out of 10 of the donor states are Trump states, and I don't mean that pejoratively, Trump. 7 of the 10 are Republican states, but 9 out of the 10 dependent states, welfare states, are Trump states. The donor states disproportionately the blue states. 71% of the country's GDP comes from blue counties. Mm-hmm. These same crack-up counties with all these crazy liberals that can't get out of their own goddamn way, and the world's come to an end. It's 71% of the economy of the goddamn country, man.
Of the goddamn mother-loving country. Shit. I said shit. Yeah, I mean, he misspoke at the very beginning. He said, or at one of the parts, he said 9 out of 10 of the Trump states are donor, and he meant, and then he corrected himself, are dependent states. And then the donor states are disproportionately Democratic states, meaning when you compare how much in federal taxes they pay versus how much they get back from the federal government in spending, Democratic states more likely to be giving more in taxes than taking. Republican states more likely to be taking more than they are getting. Are getting. Sorry, they're getting more than they're giving. My gosh, they're getting more than they're giving. Blue states are more likely to be giving more than they're getting. There we go. So if you take that breakdown, you see that blue states are more likely to be subsidizing red states. Podcast listeners, you're not seeing any of these gestures. I'm doing a bunch of gestures. So just imagine that you'd be smiling if you saw the gestures. Then you have Newsom saying this. And it was so funny because 2 times in this 43-second clip, He apologizes immediately after swearing. He goes, Trump's a son of a bitch. And listen, I'm sorry. He's the president. And listen, he's goddamn insane. And listen, I'm sorry for the goddamn.
All that reputational damage that's being done as they're sitting there on horses with American flags running through soccer fields, scaring kids that are playing soccer in the middle of the day at a summer camp. For what? Just toughness. It's a weakness masquerading as strength. That's what I don't like about this son of a bitch. I don't. And forgive me, I know he's the president of the States. Forgive me, I didn't, yeah, he calls me new scum. Come on. How do I explain that to my kid? Now I have my kids' friends calling my kids new scum. That I get, because I was called that in 7th grade, but not by a 79-year-old. Model better goddamn behavior, man. Forgive the goddamn.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's really good. Forgive the goddamn. Listen, this is just goddamn. Sorry about the goddamn shit. Sorry for the shit. This is just a son of a bitch. I apologize. He's the president. Oh, it's good. It's really good. Actually, you know what? Y'all are gonna laugh at me. Ariana Grande. It reminds me of this Ariana Grande clip. Swearing. Let's see if this pops up. She has this really funny moment where she can't stop swearing. Yeah, here we go. This is exactly what it is.
Ourselves out of a very trying time and very horrible time, and it was kind of an accident, so to see it be received and celebrated this way is very nice. It's very nice, but everyone's done incredibly this year. I'm like looking around like, holy everyone is so amazing. I'm not allowed to say that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're
I'm so
Ariana
sorry.
Grande. We got you.
I've been here 2 seconds. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I do want to mic drop. I do want to ask you about.
That was Gavin Newsom. You didn't think you were going to see Ariana Grande today, did you? Did ya? You never know what's going to come. Grok apologized. Literally. So Grok went full Nazi, was talking about Hitler could be the solution to this, that, the other thing. It was insane. So now Grok posted, hey, everybody, I've had some time in rehab. I un-Nazi'd myself, and I just want to apologize. Update on where has Grok been and what happened on July 8th. First off, we deeply apologize for the horrific behavior that many experience. Our intent for Grok is to provide helpful and truthful responses to users. After careful investigation, we discovered the root cause was an update to a code path upstream of the Grok bot. This is independent of the underlying language model that powers Grok. The update was active for 16 hours, in which depreciated code made Grok susceptible to existing X-user posts, including when such posts contain extremist views. We have removed that depreciated code and refactored the entire system to prevent further abuse. The new system prompt for the Grok bot will be published to our public GitHub repo. GitHub repo. I think it's GitHub. GitHub. Gracias. We thank all of the X-users who provided feedback to identify the abuse of Grok's functionality, helping us advance our mission of developing helpful and truth-seeking artificial intelligence. Okay, so there was just a little whoopsie. What are you going to do? Sometimes you put something in the depreciated code and it makes Grok Nazi. Who among us? Republicans often, elected Republicans that is, often struggle with timelines. Mike Collins here doesn't seem to know who the president was in 2020. Watch this.
Thank you, Congresswoman Green. And you know, it has been 1 year since they tried to kill our president. And I want to...
He tried to kill our president, not they. Who's this they? I thought y'all didn't use they. I thought they, them was confusing to you. From my understanding, this shooter was not non-binary. There's no they. It was Thomas Crooks. There was no conspiracy. It was Thomas Crooks. Even Kash Patel had to say that. You remember in the interview? He was like, there's nothing more to the story. Sorry, we looked at all the evidence. They.
It has been 1 year since they tried to kill our president. And I want to take just a quick moment to focus on what I call consequences and make two quick points. You know, the culture of lawlessness and violence, this didn't just start last year. Y'all, this started under the Obama administration when they decided to illegally investigate conservative groups, when they were out there demonizing Republicans who just simply wanted to follow the Constitution and make our country better. Then you fast forward to the Biden administration, who they put this on steroids and actually allowed the public to take part in this game.
So he said, fast forward to the Biden administration. Now he's about to say how they set up the public to engage in this game. Well, let's listen.
Example, Summer of Love, where rioters were out there burning police stations, assaulting officers, taking over our cities, where they were advocating.
Okay, when was the Summer of Love? That which they mean the Black Lives Matter protests. Summer. Where, yes, riots happened, and that's bad. 2020. Let's see. Biden presidency dates. Let's just see if we can. Something is. When was the Summer of Love? June 1967. Well, that's not what I mean. When was the Black Lives Matter protest George Floyd? Let's see. I'm confused. They always do this. They go, and then we get to the Biden administration when he allowed the rioters during the Summer of Love to burn down our streets. And it's like, Trump was president. And you know when the next big riots you said happened? A couple months ago in LA when Trump was president again. There seems to be, and do you remember when one of the craziest riots at the Capitol happened? When Trump was president. There seems to be a really consistent thread there. Vince Langman said, so here's what Grok 4 thinks. Man-made global warming is real. It thinks a racist cop killed George Floyd and not a drug overdose. It believes the right is responsible for more political violence than the left. Congrats, Elon, you made the AI version of The View. Elon said, because they just rolled out another Grok model update, and said, Sigh, it's surprisingly hard to avoid both woke liberal cuck and mecha Hitler. See? I told you. I did a joke. I was joking. Would I be able to find that? Let me see if I can find my take on this. He just proved me correct. And I got a lot of hate for it. A lot of hate. People came to my house. They had tears pouring. They said, Luke, I hate you. Where would this have been? Where would this have been? What would this have been in? Epstein. So many Epsteins. Maybe in this one? It incriminates. Let's see. Grok. No, I can't. Oh, wait. Yes, I can. Guys, just wait. Can you just wait for a second? Be patient. I promise. First clip There we go. Here we go. Let's see. And just played 6 hours of video games and doesn't know what the hell to do with their life, and they want to provoke people, so they set up Cindy Steinberg. Let's see if we can find the particular point I made here. Let's see. Oh, it's a pep plug. Paul 6G said, did you put up any content from you're admitting, without the woke filters, the truest form of non-woke is Nazi. Checkmate. Grok just showed us you can either believe that there's an infinite number of genders or you're a Nazi. That's what we're learning here. I miss my long hair. Guys, look at me. I'm like a potato. No, it is frightening. Yeah, see? So sorry, that took a second to get pulled up, but I think it was a good reference. Elon just said it's surprisingly hard to avoid both woke libtard cuck and mecha Hitler. Now, obviously I was kidding, but it's interesting how he kind of alludes to as we try to force it not to acknowledge facts like right-wing political violence is more common than left-wing political violence, that forces it to go way too extreme. So what does that tell you about maybe the reason is because what you're removing is not the liberal bias, but it's the factual bias. Grok saying right-wing political violence is more common than left-wing political violence, or that man-made global warming is real. What? Vince, I thought better of you. That's just a bias towards facts, which AI should have, not a liberal bias. So if you remove that, then yeah, probably it gets so unhinged it doesn't know how to process information other than allowing itself to absorb sources of information that make it really extreme. Pretty interesting. He said, spent several hours trying to solve this with the system prompt, but there's too much garbage coming in at the foundation model level. This is so interesting. He's admitting I'm spending hours trying to get it to stop saying things that we don't like that are based on an assessment of the facts. That's just wild. Jared Frank said, depreciated is not the same as depreciated. Oh, deprecated. Defecated? Hashtag annals. Anakin said you need to make Pep merch and Pep Beasley Bros merch. Okay. I think we have Pep merch somewhere. Do we have it on the... Maybe not on the site. Courtney said, I will never watch Gavin talk the same again. Lol. Pablo said, do you plan to do another live show this year? Yes, we do. So get ready. I'll let you know whenever we have it planned. Michelle Wood said, finally my first live stream with you. Well, it's been quite a first, I have to tell you. Thank you for being here. And that is where we'll leave it. I appreciate all of you so very much. Thank you for having fun with me this morning. Talk to you next time.